Hello and welcome to the Habitat Project podcast, where we talk about cultivating good habits, pursuing our dreams, and enjoying life. I'm Anthony, and these are my findings on how to make the most out of each day and enjoy the process along the way. Let's go. Hello everybody, welcome back to episode 31 of the Habitat Project podcast. This is going to be a highlights and lessons learned from 2022 episode. The reason why I wanted to do this is, number one, is to review the year, to see all the achievements, all the progress that has been made, looking at all the lessons as well, all the heartaches, all the disappointments, and how we went through all of those. And just being grateful for all the people and all the lessons along the way. Looking at as well some of the adaptations, focus on what we could change and the changes that happened. And also looking at what we want more of in terms of systems to be put in place, in terms of being disciplined, looking to increase understanding and caring for this craft and caring for the work that we put out into the world. And lastly, to prepare for next year. By doing this, I feel like I'll be able to create more clarity or have more clarity in the progress that's been made. And then with that, being able to continue to build systems to basically help progress towards my goals. And then by doing that, I'll be able to calibrate and adjust the goals for 2023. And then just feel good looking back at all the changes that has taken place over the course of this year. I think if I don't do this, I think it is important to do this, because if I don't, then I could see only the negatives as in the things that hasn't happened, the goals that weren't achieved. For example, this year, at the beginning of this year, I thought that, number one, HabitApp would be able to reach product market fit already. It hasn't, but that's okay. Also, I thought that in HabitApp I would already have the training track, which was going to be the physical training track built into HabitApp already as well. Which could still happen, but I'm not sure about that at this stage. If I was looking at things like this, then I could feel burnt out, feel overwhelmed. I could be, not as appreciative or not appreciative and grateful for, all the opportunities of this year. And basically, I won't be practicing what I preach. I'll just be feeling down, feeling disappointed. And I won't be building confidence as I go into the holidays and I go into next year. I wouldn't be, I think I wouldn't be as effective going into next year if I didn't do this exercise now. So let's get into it. These are the top 10 highlights and lessons learned from 2022. Number one, HabitApp. For HabitApp, we were able to launch, we were able to put it out onto the App Store, put it out onto Google Play Store, and to be live. So that's the biggest highlight for the app itself. The lessons learned, number one, I think the biggest lesson is learning how to continuously learning how to break down a big goal or a big task into something that can be done in a step-by-step manner, just looking at one thing at a time each day. Being able to have weekly meetings, weekly meetups with the inhabitants, with the users, that's one of the biggest things that I'm grateful for. Thank you guys. Thank you all the inhabitants. Thank you for all the people who have given me support, given HabitApp a try. I'm really, really grateful for each and every one of you and for all of you that have told me and have sent feedback on how to improve it. I'm continually learning about how to put these into work, into making the app more effective, into making the community better at being there for one another, at being able to discuss things, at being able to support one another. So that's for HabitApp. Coming up next year for HabitApp, we'll be working on the fundamentals for guided meditation and journaling. So what we want to do is have a guided meditation and journaling track that's early on in the morning routine or the habit building process, instead of waiting until the end of the morning routine when a new person starts using the app. So this way we can push up the experience of guided meditation and journaling, and hopefully be able to help those that are going through a setback be able to start putting things in place to get back on track. And I think the last biggest lesson of this year for HabitApp has been learning from new users or completely different users. What we did was put up a job on Upworks and basically talk with people about their first impressions of using the app as it is, and asking them how it can be more effective, in helping those that are going through a setback to get themselves back on track through using the app. And this is a little bit different than just talking to users, because these guys were not going to be users. These guys knew going in that the feedback that I was going to ask about is about the care, about the initial feeling of the user, and these are people who have technical background in app development. And what we learned was that basically the feeling that we want to give the users, especially those who are going through a hard time, is a feeling of care. That we want the app to feel more caring, and to have the level of care and the thought of the community be felt through the app. So that's going to be that's going to underline the bigger changes going into next year. So very excited about that. That wraps up the highlights for HabitApp. Number 2, the HabitApp Project podcast. This podcast also launched in 2022, and I have a lot of fun doing these. I have a lot of fun in the creative process, learning about a creative process, which for me starts with a brainstorming and then talking about the ideas in our weekly meetups, and then drafting a rough guide based on what's discussed in the weekly meetups, and with the inputs from all the inhabitants, and then just going in and recording and then editing. This whole process is something that I've grown to enjoy. I don't go into every week knowing exactly what's going to be talked about, what the podcast is going to be about, but that's what the process has been. That process allows the ideas to come. That process allows the ideas to come together. Talking with the inhabitants weekly allows me to hash out the ideas, and then putting the podcast out allows me to see what ideas or what problems need to be solved, what problems need to be talked about. And then from there, I can use those interactions and those ideas and put them into features of the app. So that's been a really fun process, not always enjoyable, but I've grown to enjoy the process. And yeah, so those are the biggest lessons for the podcast of the year. For next year, we'll be doing video podcasts. We'll be putting out more video content, and we will be having a YouTube channel as well. So looking forward to doing that in 2023. Moving on, number 3 highlight is going to be, oh, by the way, none of these are in any particular order. They're not in order priority or anything. It's just the highlights for this year. Next is Garuda Project. We were able to renovate. We were able to put in this massive new rig, get some new equipment. We renovated the other area of the gym, so we have a nice hangout area, studio, new bathroom as well, change room. So that's kind of like the technical stuff in terms of highlights. In terms of highlights of the coaching and the community, I spend almost every day there, and I cannot wait to get there every day to spend time with all the members, with all the community, with all the coaches. I'm just really grateful to have this community. Be grateful for all the energy, all the trust, all the camaraderie, all the friendships that's been formed in the community, and being able to work together with Pete and Eric, with all the coaches, with Aldi, with Sophia, with Farah. I just really enjoy being a part of this community, really enjoy being a part of being able to make that 1 hour that the guys come into the gym just a little bit better. I don't know what else to say about that. I'm just really grateful to be able to do that. Next, training. This year, the training has decreased in volume, in volume and in intensity as compared to previous years, because previous couple of years has been, the pandemic. I've been able to stay at home. I've been able to rest. I've been able to, I've been able to get more training in. But now with more things going on at work, taking on new projects, working on this podcast, working on the app, and travel and things for the family, etc. Training has decreased in volume, decreased in intensity. But the bigger lessons that I've learned has actually come from taking on the OPEX course, learning about how to use tempo, learning about how to train different energy systems. So I've put those into place for my own training, as well as training for my one-on-one clients, and as well as for programming for the gym as well. I think the biggest highlight in terms of training or competition for 2022 has been competing in the Iron Games. That was going into it. We weren't in an ideal position. My knees were swollen. Josh, Sophia, and I were in different areas. We had to travel. We couldn't train together a lot going into it. But learning how to stay calm, learning how to stay focused on what's within our control, learning how to let go of attachments, being able to support one another throughout the competitions, being able to have faith in the body, in the mind, in each other, and just learning through that process has been a massive highlight for me for my training for this year. Cool. Number 5, relationships. Leah and I got married this year. It's a massive highlight. This has been something that we've been working towards, and finally we were able to make this step together. Very, very grateful, very happy to be able to build this life together with Leah, and we've learned a lot this year through many difficult situations, including the war in Ukraine, including stuff from work, from family, from just everything in general, just doing life together. But the biggest highlight is obviously getting married. Next highlight next highlight is my friendships. To all my friends, to everybody who have supported, everybody who have lent an ear, everybody who has given encouragement. I'm really, really grateful for all my friends who have listened to this podcast, who have given support for the business, and given feedback for HabitApp, and giving HabitApp a try as well. I'm very grateful. And for all the events that I have missed out on over the course of this year, because I have kind of become a little bit of a hermit, and I'm really grateful for the understanding from all my friends for that. There hasn't been any, I haven't gotten any crap for it, and everyone's been super understanding, because I've been trying to just stay focused, to make sure that I'm on track, I'm locked in to be able to meet all the goals of this year. Next highlight is to do with habits. Biggest highlight this year has been at the start of the year where I decided that it was time for me to quit drinking. I was drinking a little bit too much, a little bit too often, and I was getting a little bit too angry. Dopamine levels were dipping a little bit too much afterwards, and I wasn't effective. So at the beginning of this year, I decided I wasn't going to be drinking casually anymore. Still drinking on special occasions, and we're going into holiday now. And I realized with this in this video, I thought I got a little bit of a drink cabinet back there, but these alcohols been here for years, I swear. Okay, so decided to quit drinking earlier this year, which has had massive effects throughout being able to train better, be able to be more effective throughout the day, be able to handle stress a lot better as well. So that's been the biggest highlight. Next highlight is for our company. We're able to complete our settlement for our insurance. This has been something that we've been working on since the natural disaster happened, and that's finally happened after 4 years. This is probably the biggest project that I've ever worked on, with the biggest impact for our family, for our company. So really grateful to be able to get that completed. To everybody who has helped along the way, to everybody who has seen the mental and emotional struggles and has helped out along the way. Thank you. Thank you to all of you who have done that. Almost there. 2 more highlights. Next one is books. Or book. I decided just to choose one book as the highlight of this year. And the book that I've chosen is actually Untethered Soul by Michael A. Singer. The reason why I choose this book is because when I first came across this, I wasn't able to read it. And I first came across this book. It's actually my brother Mike's book. Was when all the things started happening for the company. And I just couldn't read it. It was too difficult for me to read at that time. And for some reason, sometime this year, I came across it, and I thought that I'd read it again. And it was just for me, it was very transformative. It put some of the things that we learned this year in terms of the dopamine system, in terms of how the mind and body works. It was a easier way to remind myself about some of these lessons. It came from a more spiritual. Well, it did come from a spiritual perspective rather than, like a dopamine, serotonin, science kind of perspective. But the biggest takeaway, or the biggest reminder that I remind myself of from this book is that we are the one who sees. And this might have come through in some of the content and in the podcast. And basically, we need to remind ourselves that we are not our thoughts, we are not our emotions, we are not our assets, we are not our reputation, but we are the one who sees. We are the one who sits in the seat of consciousness behind all of that, seeing this life happen in front of us. And if I'm able to remind myself about that, then when not useful thought emotions come up, I can remind myself and see that, well, I'm the one behind all this. I'm the one behind all this that sees this, and kind of go along with the ones that are useful. Or if I'm seeing something as problematic, then I can separate myself from the problem, because I'm the one who sees. I'm not the problem itself. I can separate myself from the problem, create the space, create the options, and look to execute whatever ways to get myself out of the situation as best I can. This way, I'm also able to let go of attachments because, well, I'm not the assets, I'm not what I own, I'm not whatever reputation or experience. I am the one who sees, and because of that, I can learn to let go of attachments. And when I'm able to let go of attachments, I don't have to suffer unnecessarily. So that has been the highlight book of 2022. And the last highlight is that at time of this recording, I'm about to go to the airport with Leah. We're about to go and start processing the next stage of our lives. So I'll talk more about that in future episodes, but those are the top 10 highlights from 2022. So grateful for everything this year, for all the lessons, for all the ups and downs, all the smiles, all the frowns. Thank you, every single one of you who have listened, have given feedback. Continue to work on this. I'll continue to work on this craft of podcasting going into next year. Continue to work on HabitApp. Continue to work on everything, and keep on learning. Keep on trying to make the world a better place, a little bit, one person at a time. And yeah, that's it. Merry Christmas, everybody. Have a safe holidays, and we'll see you in 2023. If you're going through a setback, you are not alone. These things happen and are a part of life. I created HabitApp to help build simple structure in a day so that we can begin creating the habits that will get us back on track. This includes daily meditation, journaling, and by creating clarity and useful mental and emotional patterns daily, you arm yourself to be ready for anything that will happen during the day. Whatever may happen, it will find you ready. Download HabitApp for free now. You can email me on anthony@thehabitatproject.net, or you can click on the Book Now button on our Instagram bio, or DM me on our Instagram @habitapp_, and we'll schedule an onboarding call to get you into the use of HabitApp and get you into our support community where we'll have our weekly online meetups. For any information about what I'm doing for this project, you can check out our website, thehabitatproject.net. Thank you so much for listening to this episode, everyone. Please give me a 5-star review on Spotify. It will really help out this little show I'm building. Please share this with your friends and family who need the tools, techniques, and perspectives that we talk about to get themselves back on track if they're experiencing some sort of setback. Lastly, if you have any feedback, please let me know, and I'll continue to put them into work to improve on this craft of podcasting. I'm Anthony. I'm inspired by your stories, your grit, your efforts, and I'm grateful to be on this journey with you. Keep on cultivating good habits, pursue your dreams, and enjoy life. As always, much love. and see you on the next episode.